I, 32, male, won the lottery and my fiancé, 31, female, says the prenup she demanded doesn't apply to me. Some background: I'm Evan, I work at a state university. Not exactly rolling in it, I make about $58K a year, live pretty simply, drive a 2012 Honda that's still going strong. My fiancée Lydia works in marketing for a medical device company and makes easily double what I do, plus she has family money. We've been together 3 years, and up until 8 months ago when we were planning the wedding, everything seemed, I don't know, normal. Looking back now, maybe I was just blind. So let me rewind to 2.5 years ago, 8 months before our wedding. Lydia sat me down at her place, and I should mention, we were living in her townhouse that her parents helped her buy, and she slid this document across the table. 29 pages. A prenup. I wasn't even offended at first. I get it, she has more to protect, her family has money, whatever. Makes sense, right? But then I actually read the thing. The major points were, any assets we had before marriage stay separate, standard, fine. Any assets acquired during marriage except from joint accounts belong to whoever earned them. Joint accounts only for bills and household expenses. All windfalls, lottery winnings, large bonuses, inheritance, lawsuit settlements, stock options that blow up, whatever, belong solely to the person who receives them. Any debt you take on individually is your problem alone. If we divorce, no alimony because financially independent people don't need support. When I asked about the windfall clause specifically, Lydia gave me this whole speech about protecting our individual futures, and you never know what might happen. Her dad, who apparently had to be there for this conversation, chimed in with, "You sign, you marry my daughter. You don't sign, you don't." Here's the thing, I had basically nothing to protect. My checking account had maybe $3,000 in it. I didn't own property, didn't have stocks, didn't have a trust fund, so I signed. What did I have to lose, right? We got married as planned. The marriage itself was functional, I guess. We lived in her townhouse. She wanted me to pay 50% of all expenses even though I made way less. She controlled everything about the house. I couldn't even hang a picture without her approval. Everything was, this is my house, these are my investments, this is my money. For 2 years, this was my life. Work, pay bills, live by her rules in her house, repeat. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. 3 weeks ago, I was on a work trip to fix some servers at our satellite campus about 2 hours away. My buddy Jim, who I was traveling with, stopped at a gas station and bought a Powerball ticket just for fun. He joked that I should get one too, that maybe the universe owed me one. I never buy lottery tickets, it's basically a tax on people who are bad at math, but I was feeling weird that day, like restless or something, so I bought one. One ticket. $2. Then I completely forgot about it. 4 days later, I was eating lunch at my desk when Jim burst into my office practically hyperventilating. He shoved his phone in my face showing the winning Powerball numbers. Then he showed me a photo he took of my ticket. He'd been teasing me about it and snapped a pic to prove I'd actually bought one. They matched. All 6 numbers. I'm not going to say the exact amount, but after taxes and taking the lump sum, I was looking at about $3.4 million. I literally sat there staring at my computer screen for 20 minutes. I called the lottery office, verified everything, took the rest of the day off. I contacted a financial lawyer. I was numb. This doesn't happen to people like me. This happens to people in movies. That evening I told Lydia. Her reaction, "Oh my God, baby, this is amazing. We're set. We can finally buy that house in Riverside Heights I've been looking at, and I can quit my job and start that consulting business. This is the best thing that ever happened to us." I just stared at her. "Lydia," I said slowly, "not us. The prenup is very clear about this." She blinked at me like I'd started speaking Mandarin. "What are you talking about?" I went to our file cabinet and pulled out our prenup, flipped to page 12. I'd highlighted the relevant section that morning after talking to my lawyer. Any windfall, including but not limited to lottery winnings, received by either party during the marriage shall remain the separate property of said party. I watched the color drain from her face. Then it came rushing back, bright red. "That's not what that means," she practically screamed. That clause was for if I won something, not you. The prenup was never meant to apply to you. It says either party, Lydia. That's what either means, both of us. She started crying, then yelling, then crying while yelling. She called me selfish, accused me of changing and becoming greedy. She said I was stealing from our marriage and that marriage means we share everything. I reminded her that for the past 18 months she'd made very clear that we did not share everything. That I'd been paying half of everything despite making half what she made, living in her house under her rules, told repeatedly that her money was hers. That's different, she shrieked. I earned that money, you just got lucky. And the prenup says luck belongs to whoever had it, I said. I packed a bag that night and went to a hotel. My phone didn't stop ringing for 3 hours straight. Reddit, I don't even know what I'm asking here. I know legally I'm protected. My lawyer confirmed the prenup is ironclad, but Lydia's blowing up my phone, her family's calling me everything from selfish to evil. The prenup was her idea. Every single clause was what she wanted. But now that it's protecting me instead of her, suddenly it's unfair, and not what she meant, and I'm the villain. I don't know, guys. I just needed to tell someone who isn't my lawyer or my parents. Edit, holy shit, RIP my inbox. A lot of you are saying to document everything and prepare for things to get worse. I really hope it doesn't come to that, but I'm starting to think you might be right. Update 1. You guys. I cannot believe I'm back here with an update already, but things have gone absolutely nuclear, and I need to vent before my head explodes. So after I left Lydia at the house and checked into a hotel, I spent the entire next day meeting with lawyers. Found this sharp as hell attorney named Caroline. First thing she said to me, don't talk to your wife without me present, don't make any promises, and forward me every single communication you receive. Good thing I listened, because 2 days later, Lydia's entire family showed up at the extended stay hotel I'd moved to. I'm talking her mom, her dad, her older sister, and her cousin Dexter, who thinks he's intimidating because he's 6'3" and works out. They somehow found out where I was staying, and they literally ambushed me in the parking lot at 7 a.m. when I was heading to work. Her mom started with, "You're stealing our daughter's future. Do you understand that? You're robbing her blind." Her sister, "You clearly don't understand what the prenup actually meant. It was written to protect women in vulnerable positions." Her dad, "Prenups are only valid when signed in good faith. You clearly never had good faith." Dexter just stood there trying to look threatening, which honestly would have worked better if he wasn't wearing a tank top that said "blessed" in cursive. I told them calmly that the prenup means exactly what it says, that it was Lydia's idea and written by her lawyer, and that they needed to leave the property or I'd call security. Dexter took a step toward me. "Or what, little man?" I called security. The guy at the front desk came out, took one look at the situation, and threatened to call the cops. They left, but not before Lydia's mom shouted that I'd rot in hell for this. Great start to the week, right? But it gets so much worse. 2 days after that, I get called into a meeting with my HR department. Apparently Lydia had called them claiming I was emotionally unstable and experiencing a mental health crisis, and they should be aware I might be dangerous to myself and others. Thank God my boss is reasonable. I explained the situation, gave them the minimum details, just that I was going through a divorce and my ex was upset about asset division. They were understanding, but I had to sit through a wellness check conversation that was humiliating as hell. Then I discovered Lydia had called our joint bank. We had one checking account for bills like the prenup stipulated, and tried to freeze it, claiming I was acting erratically. The bank flagged it as suspicious and called me to verify. I went in person, showed them the prenup, explained we were divorcing, and moved to close the account entirely. Split what was left, about $800 down the middle, and opened my own account at a different bank. But wait, there's more. Lydia started calling our mutual friends and telling them I'd changed, that I was hiding money from her, and that I'd already moved on with another woman. That last one, complete fabrication. I've been living in an extended stay hotel, eating takeout and watching The Office for 3 weeks straight. Not exactly living my best life with a mistress. Some friends believed her. Some called me to get my side. A few just ghosted both of us entirely, which honestly I can't blame them for. Drama fatigue is real. I documented all of it. Every call log, every text, every email. Caroline was pleased. Then came the letter from Lydia's lawyer. They're trying to invalidate the prenup. Their arguments are, one, I signed under emotional duress. I didn't too. The prenup is unconscionably one-sided. It's not. It applies equally to both parties. 3. The windfall clause is unreasonable because everyone knows Lydia was more likely to receive a windfall given her higher income. Not even kidding. That's their actual argument. The judge agreed to a hearing just to clear it off the docket, basically. Caroline says it's a nuisance case with zero chance of success, but we still have to show up and respond. The hearing's in 10 days. Lydia's been texting me nonstop, sometimes apologetic, sometimes angry, sometimes trying to negotiate. Can't we just rip up the prenup and split everything fairly? What if I get 40% just to start over? I loved you, how can you do this to someone you loved? Caroline told me not to respond to any of it, so I haven't. Every text gets forwarded to her and filed away. The prenup was her idea, every single clause. She wanted to protect herself from me, never thinking she might need protection from the prenup instead. Karma's not just a bitch. Sometimes she's a notary public. I moved out of the hotel and into a short-term rental apartment. It's small, but it's mine. I'll update after the hearing. Edit. Seeing a lot of comments about my safety. I appreciate the concern. I filed a police report about the parking lot confrontation just to have it on record. Caroline recommended it. I'm being careful. To everyone asking what I'm doing with the money, right now it's sitting in an investment account doing boring index fund things while I figure out my life. I haven't touched it except to pay legal fees, which are adding up, let me tell you. Update 2. The hearing was yesterday. I need to get this all down while it's fresh. First, the actual court part. Lydia showed up dressed like she was going to a funeral, all black, minimal makeup, looking as sympathetic as possible. Her lawyer was this older guy in an expensive suit who kept calling me son in a condescending way. Her whole family was there in the gallery, staring daggers at me. I wore a simple navy suit, sat next to Caroline, and kept my mouth shut unless directly asked a question. Lydia's lawyer went first. His whole argument was basically, Your Honor, the spirit of this prenup was to protect my client's assets. The intent was never for Mr. Harrison to use it as a weapon against her. Prenups are meant to protect the more vulnerable party, and in this case, that's clearly my client. The judge just listened without expression. Then Caroline stood up. Your Honor, contracts are interpreted by their explicit language, not by wishful thinking about spirit or intent. The prenup specifically states, any windfall received by either party shall remain the separate property of said party. Not any windfall received by the wife. Not any windfall that seems fair in hindsight. Either party. She let that hang there for a second. Furthermore, my client did not draft this prenup. The plaintiff did. My client did not insist on the windfall clause. The plaintiff did. My client signed it in good faith with his own legal representation after ample time to review. All requirements for a valid prenup were met. The judge asked Lydia's lawyer, was your client coerced or forced to sign? Well, no, but... Did your client have independent legal counsel review it? Yes, but was there any fraud, misrepresentation, or concealment of assets? No, Your Honor, but the circumstances have changed. Circumstances change. Contracts don't unless both parties agree. The judge looked at Lydia directly. Ma'am, did you understand what you were signing? Lydia started crying. Actual tears. Yes, but I never thought, I never imagined, he was never supposed to win anything. The prenup was for me. The judge's expression didn't change. The prenup was for both of you. That's what either party means, the judge said flatly. Case dismissed. The prenup stands as written. And just like that, it was over. We walked out, and I swear to God, I almost collapsed on the courthouse steps. Caroline grabbed my arm and steadied me. Breathe, she said. You just won, but stay alert. Desperate people do desperate things. She was right to warn me. We were walking to the parking garage when Lydia's cousin Dexter came running up behind us. I heard Caroline yell, "Evan," and I turned just in time to see him winding up to punch me. He got me in the shoulder, hard enough to hurt but not hard enough to do real damage, and then Caroline was screaming. A security guard was running over and Dexter was being tackled to the ground by two courthouse cops who'd seen the whole thing. The whole scene was on camera, multiple witnesses. Dexter got arrested right there. I filed a police report, gave a statement, pressed charges. Caroline stood there the whole time looking grimly satisfied, taking notes. Dexter got charged with assault. Turns out he also had a warrant for unpaid traffic tickets, so that didn't help his situation. He's out on bail now, but his employer, some corporate finance place, fired him immediately after the arrest showed up in the news. Apparently they have a zero-tolerance policy for violence. Lydia's family is furious, but now they're furious at Dexter for making everything worse. I've heard through the grapevine that there's been screaming matches at family dinners, with Lydia's dad blaming Dexter for ruining everything and Lydia's mom blaming me for pressing charges against family. Meanwhile, Lydia has been texting me non-stop. The messages have been a journey. First batch right after the hearing. "How could you do this to me? You know I loved you." Second batch that night. "Okay, look, can we at least negotiate? I don't need half. What about 40%? I just want enough to start my consulting business." Third batch next morning. "Fine, 30%. That's more than fair considering I housed you for more than 2 years. Fourth batch that afternoon. "I'll take 25%. Just 25% and we can be done with this." Fifth batch the day after. "Please, I'm begging you. I'm drowning in legal fees, just something, anything. I gave you the best years of my life." I haven't responded to a single one. Caroline's advice was to maintain complete radio silence, so that's what I'm doing. Every text gets forwarded to her and added to the documentation file. The divorce papers are being filed next week. Caroline says given the prenup and the failed challenge, it should be pretty quick and clean. No kids, no jointly owned property, clear documentation of everything. She estimates 3 to 4 months for it to be finalized. I'm exhausted, relieved but exhausted. I keep expecting Lydia or her family to try something else, but so far it's been quiet except for the texts. So for now, I'm just trying to breathe and process that this nightmare is almost over. Almost. Edit. For everyone asking, yes, Dexter's assault charge is being prosecuted. I have a court date for that in about 6 weeks. My lawyer says given the video evidence and witnesses, he'll almost certainly plead out. Final update. It's done. All of it. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago and I finally feel like I can breathe without looking over my shoulder. First, the legal stuff. The divorce went exactly like Caroline predicted, clean, quick, and completely in my favor. I didn't have to give Lydia a single cent. The $3.4 million stays mine. The prenup held up perfectly because, well, it was basically designed to. By her. As part of the final settlement, Lydia also had to reimburse me for my legal fees, about $40,000 total, because the judge ruled her attempt to invalidate the prenup was frivolous and filed in bad faith. She fought that too, but lost. Her lawyer apparently advised her to just pay it and move on before she dug herself deeper into debt. Dexter's assault case was resolved last month. He pleaded guilty to avoid jail time and got 2 years probation, anger management classes, and a $5,000 fine. I heard through a mutual friend that Dexter's life has basically imploded. Lost his job, had to move back in with his parents at 35, and apparently his girlfriend left him over the whole mess. Lydia's dad is still furious at him for destroying any chance of goodwill I might have had toward the family. As if assaulting me in a courthouse parking lot was the only thing standing between me and generosity. As for Lydia herself, things haven't gone well for her either. She's still at her marketing job, but I heard she got passed over for a promotion she was expecting. Rumor is the company's HR was aware of the lawsuit and her behavior throughout the divorce and decided she lacked the judgment and professionalism for a senior role. Most of her friend group has distanced themselves from her. A few of them reached out to me privately to apologize for initially believing her version of events. I appreciated that, but I also didn't really know what to do with it. The friendships were already dead. Apologies don't resurrect them. Her family is apparently a disaster zone. Lydia's mom is still convinced I'm the devil incarnate and refuses to accept any responsibility for how things played out. Lydia's dad, on the other hand, has apparently had some kind of come-to-Jesus moment and moved out of their house temporarily. I heard he told Lydia that maybe this is what happens when you try to have your cake and eat it too. Lydia's still in the townhouse, but she's talking about selling it because she can't afford it on her own anymore. Between legal fees, the reimbursement she owes me, and whatever other debt she's racked up trying to fight this, her finances are trashed. I don't take pleasure in any of that. Mostly I just feel numb about it. She made her choices. As for me, I'm doing better than I ever thought possible. I bought a house. Small, 3-bedroom ranch on the edge of town with a big backyard. Paid cash. No mortgage, no roommate, no one telling me I can't paint the walls or hang pictures or play music at 11 p.m. if I want to. I'm still working at the university. I like my job, and I'm not ready to give up the structure and purpose it gives me. I started a scholarship fund through the university for low-income students studying STEM fields. It's not huge, but it's something I'm proud of. Every year, 5 kids who couldn't otherwise afford college are going to get help. That feels better than any material thing I could buy for myself. I took my first real vacation in 7 years, 2 weeks in Montana, hiking and fishing and just existing without drama. No phone calls, no lawyers, no stress. Just me and some mountains and terrible freeze-dried camping food. It was perfect. And I'm seeing someone. Her name's Rachel, and she's a librarian at the university science library. We've known each other for years but never really talked much until I came in one day looking for information about financial planning books, and we got to chatting. She's quiet, thoughtful, genuinely kind in a way that doesn't feel performative. We've been together 3 months now, taking it slow, and it's like I'm learning what a healthy relationship is supposed to feel like. She pays for her own stuff. I pay for mine. Sometimes we split things, sometimes we treat each other, and there's no spreadsheet tracking who owes what. She doesn't need me to fund her dreams or support her lifestyle. She just likes being around me, because of who I am, not what I have. It's so simple it's almost stupid, but after Lydia, simple feels revolutionary. I did get one last message from Lydia about a week ago. It came through at 2 a.m., which should tell you something about her state of mind. I had a dream about us last night. We won the lottery together and we were happy. I woke up and realized I should have chosen you over the money, over the control, over all of it. I'm sorry. I read it 3 times. And then I blocked her number. Not because I hate her, not even because I'm angry anymore, just because there's nothing left to say. She's mourning something that never really existed, a version of our relationship where she got to control everything and benefit from my luck. That was never on the table. I'm sitting in my living room right now, in a house I own, drinking coffee I made in my own kitchen, looking at a wall where I hung whatever art I wanted without asking permission. In a few hours, Rachel's coming over and we're going to try making homemade pizza and probably fail hilariously. This weekend, I'm driving up to see my parents. Next month, I'm taking that scholarship fund money and presenting the awards to the first round of recipients. I have my whole life ahead of me, my own life, not the life someone else designed for me to live in. And I owe it all to a 29-page contract that was supposed to keep me in my place. Funny how things work out. Take care of yourselves, Reddit. And hey, maybe buy a lottery ticket once in a while. You never know.